Hi friends, this is Bakappa. Welcome to Cypress full course. You can access all the exercise which we have done in the Cypress full course. You can Google it with Bakappa and GitHub. And here you can go to the testers talk, Bakappa and GitHub, and our repositories. And here search with Cypress. And you will get the Cypress tutorial full course. Go inside that particular repository. And here you can simply click on the code. And by using this URI, you can get the whole repository code in your local machine. Hi friends, this is Bakappa. In this Cypress tutorial full course, chapter 1, we will see how to get started with the Cypress. So we will understand what is Cypress, what are the advantages of using Cypress, what are the limitations of Cypress tool, and we will see what is the difference between Cypress and Selenium WebDriver, and then we will see what are the softwares required to get started with the Cypress, and then we will see how to install the Cypress automation framework in your machine. Next, we are going to see Cypress folder structure, and then we will see scaffold examples. So that is nothing but, so Cypress has provided the set of example codes how you can perform the actions in the web pages. And next we will see about the test runner, how to open the test runner and how to run the Cypress automation test. And next we are going to see Cypress Studio, where you can record the test and you can replay the automation test. And then we will see how to create the first Cypress automation test. Then we will see how to create the logs in the Cypress automation test. Then we are going to see how to run the Cypress test in the different browsers. And then we are going to see how to run the Cypress test in the headless mode. Then finally we are going to see how to stop the Cypress automation rerun. In this getting started with Cypress tutorial, we are going to see what is Cypress, what are the advantages of using Cypress, and what are the limitations of Cypress tool. Let's get started with the understanding what is Cypress tool. Cypress is an open source tool and also it's a paid automation testing tool. So there are some features which are disabled in the open source and complete product is available in the paid tool. Cypress is built by using the JavaScript programming language to test the modern web applications. So here modern web application is nothing but React.js applications, AngularJS applications, and JavaScript based applications. And by using the Cypress, you can test the APIs as well. Cypress is widely used by the developers and as well as the testers. And by using the Cypress, you can perform the end-to-end testing, component testing, and unit testing. So Cypress is completely different than Selenium WebDriver. So here Cypress is a tool, Selenium WebDriver is a API. By using Cypress, you can create test faster, easier, and more reliable test can be created by using the Cypress. Now let's see what are the advantages of using the Cypress. The first advantage is easy to use. You can quickly write your test, run your test, and also you can debug your test by using the Cypress tool. And next advantage of Cypress tool is speed and faster. So whenever you execute any test in the Cypress tool, so it will quickly perform the test execution. And when you perform the same test execution by using the Selenium WebDriver, it will take the lot of time. And coming to the third advantage of using the Cypress is cross-browser testing. In the sense, both developer or testers can perform the testing across the different browsers. So it can be Chrome browser, Edge browser, or Firefox browser, or even it can be the Electron browser. And next advantage is it is a open source. So you will get the community support whenever you get stuck in the real-time project. Basically, re, when you started working on the real-time project, if you got stuck, you will get the community support for this particular Cypress tool. And next advantage of Cypress is time travel. So while running the test, you'll be finding the each and every step time took for the test execution. In the sense, for example, we have a one test that has a 5 steps. So basically, it will list down all the time by stepwise. For example, step one, how long it took for execution. Step two, how long it took for execution. So like that, it will maintain all the time travel between the each step in a single test. So by using that, you can get to know how long my particular step is taking for test execution or a step execution, right? And also you can find the screenshot by the at a step level, sorry. And coming to the next advantage of Cypress is debuggability. So you will be finding the more readable errors, and also it will add the stack trace information quickly. So after the execution of within few milliseconds, you will find all the stack trace information and also user readable error information. And coming to the next advantage of using the Cypress is automatic waiting. So no need to write any implicit wait, explicit wait, what you write it in the Selenium, right? So no need to provide any type of waits here. So Cypress automatically takes care of waiting mechanism already. So that mechanism is already available in the Cypress tool. And the last advantage of using the Cypress is it captures the screenshot at each step level, and also it will record the test execution video also. That's another advantage of using the Cypress tool. Now let's look at the what are the disadvantages of using the Cypress or limitations of Cypress tool. The very first limitation is Cypress cannot use more than one browser at the same time. Say for example, I want to run my test first time in the Chrome browser, second time in the Electron browser. So I cannot perform that particular functionality in the by using the Cypress. So this is the first disadvantage of using the Cypress. Second disadvantage is it does not provide the support for multi-tabs. For example, in my application, I want to open 3-4 tabs. So that support is not provided by using the Cypress. The third disadvantage is Cypress only supports for the JavaScript programming language. It will never support for the Python, Java, or the C#.NET, etc. etc. So that's the third disadvantage of using the Cypress. Coming to the next disadvantage, Cypress does not support for the mobile app testing and as well as the desktop application testing. So that's the fourth disadvantage. Moving on to the next one, Cypress supported for the limited number of browsers. For example, I want to execute my test on the Opera or Safari browser. So Cypress will not support for the Opera or Safari browser. So that's another disadvantage of using the Cypress. And the last limitation of Cypress is, for example, if I want to use XPath, I need to add the external plugin to use the XPath in the Cypress tool. Now I will start discussing about what is the difference between Cypress and Selenium WebDriver. So let's see the first difference, that is the first feature, programming language. In case of Cypress, it supports for only JavaScript programming language. Coming to the Selenium WebDriver, it supports for variety of programming language. So it can be Java, Python, C#.NET, Ruby, etc. And the second difference is browser. In case of Cypress, it supports for Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and Electron browsers. But in case of Selenium WebDriver, it supports for the additional browsers such as Opera and Safari. And also it supports for the Chrome, Edge, and the Firefox. And moving on to the third difference, that is a framework. In case of Cypress, it uses only the Mocha framework, that's a JavaScript test framework. And in case of Selenium WebDriver, so it supports for the JUnit testing framework, TestNG, and Cucumber frameworks. And moving on to the next difference, setup wise. In case of Cypress, it is very easy. You can set up the automation framework, that's a Cypress, within few minutes. But in case of Selenium WebDriver, it is a bit complex. You need to add the Maven dependency which is required. So you need to create a project. So all the things are a bit complex here in case of Selenium WebDriver. And next difference is documentation and community support. So Cypress is rapidly growing. That means the documentation and as well as the community support for the Cypress tool. But in case of Selenium WebDriver, so Selenium WebDriver is a bit old, and this particular library is used across the globe. And the sixth difference is users. So Cypress tool can be used by the testers and as well as the developers. So developer can perform the unit testing. They can test, for example, some function has to return something, so that can be reproduced by passing the data, or some server has to return some data, so that tweak can be done by using the Cypress tool. But in case of Selenium WebDriver, that is not possible. So Selenium WebDriver is designed in such a way that it supports for only the testing team or the testers to test the application. And seventh difference between the Cypress and Selenium WebDriver is open source. Cypress is an open source tool and as well as the paid automation testing tool. But Selenium WebDriver is completely open source tool. And the eighth difference between the Cypress and Selenium is mobile app testing. In case of Cypress, it is not possible. So Cypress will not support for mobile app testing. But in case of Selenium, so it supports for the mobile app testing by using the third-party tool that is called Appium. In this Cypress tutorial, we are going to see what are the softwares required for the entire Cypress full course. The first one is you need to install the nodejs, and second software is Visual Studio Code you need to install in your machine. So let's see how to download and install the nodejs in your system. You can go to the google.com and simply type nodejs download. And here you can go to the nodejs official website. That's the first link. And here you will find the .msi file for the Windows based systems, and you will find the .exe file for the Mac system as well. So based on your system, so in my case it's a 64-bit system, so that's the reason I have downloaded 64-bit .msi file. And if your system is 32-bit, simply click on 32-bit, it will download you the .msi. Sorry, for the Mac system, you will get the .package. So by using that, you can install the nodejs in your system. So let's see how to install the nodejs. So when you click on this particular 64-bit or 32-bit, or even, let me pass, in my case I have already downloaded this particular version, that is 18.17.1. so based on your operating system, you can download the nodejs based on the Windows and based on the Mac. Once you downloaded the nodejs, you will get the file like this. For the Windows users, simply double click on this particular .exe file, and after clicking on .exe file, you will get the window like this. Simply click on next and next, and before that you need to accept this terms and conditions, and simply click on the next. So steps are very easy and straightforward, and click on next. Again click on the next button, and here you need to click on the install button, and it will install all the required packages in your system. And finally you can click on the finish button. Once the installation is completed, you can validate node is installed in your system or not by going to the cmd and simply type node space -v. So if node is installed in your system successfully, you will get the node version. So in my case, I have installed the latest version, that is 18.17.1, and this is how you can download and install the nodejs in your system. And also this is how you can validate whether node is installed in your machine or not. Now let's see how to download and install the VS Code. You can go to the google.com here, and here search for the VS Code download, and here you can go to the Visual Studio Code official website, and based on the operating system you will find the downloadable files. So if your system is Windows, you can click on this Windows, and if your system is Mac, click on this particular Mac. So in my case, I'm using the Windows system. I have downloaded this particular Windows file. So for this installation also, so you will get the file like this for VS Code in the Windows for the Windows users. So simply you need to double click on this particular .exe file. So make sure that you have connected to the internet, and it will download respective files. So steps are very easy and straightforward, and you can go ahead and install the VS Code. And once the installation is completed, you will get the Visual Studio Code like this when you type a Visual Studio Code in your start. So simply click on this particular Visual Studio Code. So it will opens the windows like this. In this Cypress tutorial, we are going to see how to install Cypress Automation Framework, or how to set up Cypress Automation Framework in your system. The first step is you need to enter this particular command npm followed by install cypress space hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev. So by using this command, you can install the Cypress. To open the test runner, you need to enter this particular command. That is a step 2. You need to enter npm run cypress open. So let's install the first Cypress, and then later we will open the test runner. So I will go to the one folder where I want to install the Cypress, and simply you can do the cd command. So here I'll open the command prompt, and here I will enter the command. So npm followed by install cypress space hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev. So this command will install the Cypress in your system. So it will take a couple of seconds to install the Cypress. So based on your internet connection, so if your internet connection is faster, it will install the Cypress in your system very faster. Otherwise, it will take little time. So meanwhile, let's go back to the document. So it will take a couple of seconds to install the Cypress. Basically, it is going to create the one folder called node underscore models, and also it is going to create the, so if you look at here, so it is created the node underscore models folder, and also it is going to create the another two JSON files. One is package JSON file, and another one is package -log JSON file. And if you look at here, so it has created the node underscore models folder, and also it is created the package and package -log JSON file. So inside the package JSON file, you can specify the packages. Now we have installed the Cypress, and let's open the test runner by using the npm run cypress open. So directly you cannot use this particular command. Before that, you need to add the one property in the package JSON file. So if I enter this particular command, I will get the error. So let me enter this particular command npm run cypress open, and it will throw the error missing script. So we need to add this particular property inside the package JSON file. So let's add this particular property. So I will open this package JSON file in the Notepad++. So simply copy this particular JSON object and paste it. So you need to specify the name of this JSON object as scripts, and here you need to add the property as Cypress open, and in the similar way you need to add the respective value as Cypress space open. So that's it. So once you added Cypress open and Cypress open as the value, simply close the package JSON file. Now let's run the same command now. So this will open the test runner. So now it is invoking the npm run Cypress open command. So previously it was throwing the error missing property as Cypress open. So now it is trying to open the Cypress Test Runner. So right now in the taskbar, we don't have the Cypress Test Runner. So it will take some time. So if you see here, so here we have to select. So based on your demand or based on your need, you can select component testing or end-to-end testing. So we are going to select the E2E testing. So this particular window got stuck. So let's wait for a few seconds. Yeah, after selecting the E2E, so here you need to select the second option, that is Cypress / support e2e.js. Simply select this second option and click on continue. So previously we had only node underscore models folder package and package hyphen log.json file. So when you selected this particular option, that's E2E testing, so it has created a Cypress folder and as well as the Cypress configuration file. Now let's go to the test runner. So here you need to select the browser where you want to execute your test cases. So in my case, I'm going to select the Edge and click on the start E2E testing in Edge. So if you look at here, so it has opened the Edge browser where you'll be seeing all your JS files if you have already created it. So in our case, so as I mentioned in this agenda, so firstly we have seen how to set up the Cypress in your local machine, and I have already mentioned scaffold examples. So scaffold examples are nothing but there are several examples which is provided by the Cypress. You can go through all the code and understand how the comments are written or how the comments are using to perform the actions on the web page. So let's go to our browser now. So this is a test runner basically, and here we are going to select the scaffold example specs. Next time we are going to create the new spec file, but this time we are selecting the scaffold example specs. Select this particular option, and if you see here, it has lots of JS files, JavaScript files. Let's click on the OK. I got it. And after that, so simply you can click on the any of the file. So if I click on to do, so simply it will start executing all the tests which are there inside that to do.cy.js file. So your tests are loading. So that means it is going to load all the tests which are there inside the to do.cy.js file. So let's wait for a couple of seconds, and already it is started the execution. So this is where you can see all the JS files on the left side, and on the right side you will be seeing the browser. So it is executing each and every step. On the right side you will be seeing the execution as well. So simply click on this specs. So this will list down all the JS files. That is nothing but your automation test. For example, if I want to execute actions, simply click on this actions. So it is started executing the actions JavaScript file, which has a number of tests. And if you see on the right side, so this is a web browser. It is performing all the actions, right? And also you can click on the any of the test, and it will list down all the steps. What are the steps it is getting executed? And if I click on the, let's say, clear, So it is before it is launching this particular URL, and in between it is performing all these actions. Then finally it is going to execute next test. So before, it is not going to close the web browser, guys. So it is going to execute in the same browser all the test. So this particular JS file has the n number of tests, and it is getting executed one by one all the test cases. And if you see here, you can see the check mark. So that is nothing but all these tests are executed just now. So when you click on the .js file. So these are the simple examples, guys. So you can go ahead and explore all these examples. And let's go to the VS Code, and we will open this particular folder in the VS Code, and let's explore what are the commands they have written, and what are the folder structure of the Cypress tool. So far you have seen how to install Cypress and how to open Cypress Test Runner. In this test runner, so here each .cy.js file is nothing but the one test suite. For example, if you have created 10.cy.js file, that is nothing but you have created a 10 suite file where each suite contains the n number of automation tests. Now let's explore the Cypress folder structure. So simply I will go to the VS Code. You can open your Visual Studio Code and go to the file and click on open folder. So here we are opening the folder where we have installed the Cypress. So simply I'll go to the Cypress full course folder, and here I will select the Cypress full course 1. So this is where I have installed the Cypress in my system. And if you see here, it has the Cypress folder and followed by that node models, that is a node underscore models folder, Cypress configuration and package file. So let's explore the Cypress folder. Inside this Cypress folder, we are having the again three folders. One is E2E, fixtures and support. Inside the E2E folder, you can write your automation test. That's a Cypress automation test where you can create the .js file and you can create your one test suite. And coming to the fixture folders, that's the fixtures folders where you can add the test data file. For example, I want to read the test data from the CSV file or Excel file. So those test data can be added inside the fixtures folder. Coming to the next folder, that is a support folder. So it has two JavaScript files, that's a .js file. One is commands.js file where you can override the existing commands, Cypress commands, or you can write your custom commands to perform the actions on the web page. And we have another JS file, that is a JavaScript file, e2e.js file. So whatever the code you have written in this particular JS file, so this code will be loaded before running any of your Cypress automation test. And this particular node underscore models, it contains the all the utils, JavaScript files, plugins. So all the required softwares for the Cypress are kept under the node underscore models folder. Coming to the cypress.config file where you can specify all your configurations for the Cypress so that it will execute your automation test with the specific configurations. And we have the package JSON file where you can specify your all the packages which is required for the Cypress and automation test. So far you have seen how to install Cypress and how to open the Cypress Test Runner. And also I have discussed folder structure of the Cypress automation framework. So if you go inside the E2E folder, so there is a getting started where it has all the basic examples of the Cypress commands. So inside the advanced examples, it has all the advanced level commands are used. Say for example, if you want to assert something, so there is the assertions.cy.js file. And if you want to play with cookies data, so there is another .js file, that is a JavaScript file. So you can explore all this stuff. But before we go ahead and move on to the next topic, let me give you a overview on about the one .cy.js file. So if you look at this particular todo.cy.js file, so we have started writing with the describe here. So describe is nothing but the test suite, and here you can add the test suite name, and followed by that you'll be finding the it block. So it block is nothing but the one automation test. For example, if I have added 5 it blocks like this, that is nothing but we have created a 5 automation test. So that's how it is. So in this Cypress tutorial, we are going to discuss about the Cypress Studio, where you can record and play back the automation test by using the Cypress Studio. So in my case, already I have cloned, in the sense I have already installed the Cypress in this particular folder, Cypress full course 2. And here, just now I have installed it, Cypress, and now I will run the Cypress. So basically I will open the test runner. So here I'll say npm run followed by Cypress colon, I'll say open. So let's create the configuration file and Cypress folder inside this particular Cypress full course 2 folder, so that we can record and play back the automation test by using the Cypress Studio. And if you look at here, so already Cypress window is opened and it is loading a bit slowly. And here you need to select the end-to-end testing. So that's a E2E testing, and it will take few seconds to load. And here you can select the second option, that is a Cypress support e2e.js, and then click on continue button. And here you can select whichever the browser you like it. In my case, I'm selecting the Edge browser. Then I will say here start end-to-end testing in Edge. So now you'll be seeing that Cypress folder got created, and also cypress.config file is created after selecting the browser, all the stuff. Now I will go to the browser now. So this is our test runner basically. So it is loading, so it is taking some time. So previously we have created spec file by using the scaffold example specs. So this time we are going to create a new spec file. Here you can click on the create new spec, and here we can specify the file name. So here I'll say record and play test. So that's it. Simply click on create spec. So this by default it is going to add this particular template. So here you can say okay, run the spec. So that's not an issue. So it is going to load this particular JavaScript file, and also it will start executing the tests which are there inside this particular JavaScript file. So right now we have not added any commands. So by default it has only one, go to the particular URL. So it has executed that particular command. Now simply I will close this particular browser and Cypress Test Runner also. Now what you need to do is, so let me open this particular folder in the VS Code. So here I'll go to the file and open folder. So this is where we have installed the Cypress. I will select the Cypress full course 2, and that's it guys. And if you look at here under the Cypress E2E, so there is a .cy.js file created. So this particular name what we have provided while we are creating the Cypress configurations, right? So we are going to delete this particular line. So we are keeping this particular test as a empty as of now. So as I said just now, so describe keyword is used to create the test suite. So here let's add the test suite name as record and play suite, and then you can add the test name as test1. So by using the it block we can add n number of automation tests. So right now we are having only one automation test. If I have added 2 it blocks like this, that will be a 2 automation test. So save it. That's it guys. and I'll come back to the document. So what you need to do is to enable the record and playback feature in the Cypress by using the Cypress Studio, you need to add this particular flag or the attribute in the file called cypress.configurations. Inside this particular file, you need to add this particular flag called experimental studio true. So you need to pass this particular flag. You need to set this particular parameter value as a true, and that's it. So that is the only one change you need to do to enable the Cypress Studio in the while you are testing with the Cypress. So that's it, guys. Let's save this particular cypress.config.js file. And now once again I will open my test runner. And it is started loading the Cypress window. So here we have to select the type of testing, and then we have to select the browser. So that will open the browser with the test runner. And if you see here, so in this particular folder, right? So this is where we have installed the Cypress. Inside this particular folder, currently we are having only one JS file created. So that is the record and play test. Simply click on this particular test. So right now it has no commands, right? So now let's record a test. So the scenario would be, so simply I will go to the youtube.com. So we are going to open the youtube.com, and then we are going to search for the testers talk. Then I will click on the channel, and here I will scroll down a little bit down. Then I will click on the JavaScript by testers talk. Yeah, this is the scenario, guys, what we are going to record it from the Cypress tool. So I will go back to the Cypress tool. So this is an empty test what we have created. So this is our test suite name, and this is our JS file. If you look at the test, this particular test, if you go right side, so there is a one icon. You can say add commands to test. Simply click on this icon, and here we have to provide the URL, which URL you want to open it. So let's copy this particular URL, and I will enter the URL here. Then click on continue. So it is going to load this particular youtube.com, and then here we are searching for the tester stock. Then we are going to we are going to click on the search icon, and then I will go to the tester stock channel, and here I will scroll a little bit. Then I will click on the JavaScript by tester stock. So that's it, guys. So this is a scenario what we have recorded, and you will see the two save buttons here. On the right side top, you will see the save button on one here, and another save button you can see here, save commands. So let's use the save button which is there on the right side top. Simply click on the save. So it is going to save this particular test, and also it is going to rerun the scenario what we have automated by using the Cypress Studio record and playback option. So it has opened the youtube.com, and it is searching for the tester stock channel, and it's going to, and finally it is clicking on the it is clicking on the JavaScript by tester stock playlist. So that's it, guys. And if you look at the test also, so our test is passing, right? So if you see the check mark over here, so our test is passing successfully. So let's add the another test. You can go over inside, you can go over the you can go over this particular suite. If you move right side, so here you will see the icon called add new test. So let's add the new test this time. And this time what we are doing is simply we will be opening the youtube.com, where we are searching for the JavaScript by tester stock. So that's it, guys. And after that, we are going to end the test. So here I'm entering the URL, and after going to the youtube.com. So previously we were searching for tester stock, and this time we are searching for the JavaScript by testers stock. So that's it, guys. Simply I will click on this search icon. So this is our test. So previously we have used this particular save button, which is there in the right side. So this time I'm using the another save button, that is a save commands button. So simply I will click on save commands, and here we have to provide the test name. So here I'll say JavaScript by tester stock. You can give any name to this particular test and click on save. We have saved the test right now, and it is going to rerun the whole JS file, so which has the total 2 tests as of now. So it is executing the very first test, that is a test1, and which is searching for the tester stock, and it is going to click on the JavaScript by tester stock playlist. So that's it, guys. If you look at here, so it is started executing the second test. So it has already opened youtube.com, and it is searching for the JavaScript by tester stock. So that's it, guys. If you look at the test status also, so test1 is passed, and JavaScript by tester stock also it is got passed. If you click on this particular test, it will display you all the steps. Now I will navigate to the VS Code, where we have loaded the entire Cypress automation framework. So if you look at this particular .js file, that's a JavaScript file what we have created in the beginning of this tutorial. So it has generated this particular whole code in the test one. So it has generated this particular code, and if you look at this one, so this particular thing is added by the Cypress Studio. It is saying that it is generated, this particular code is generated by using the Cypress Studio. In the first test, what we are doing is we are going to this URL, then we are searching for the tester stock, then we are going inside the tester stock channel, then we are clicking on the JavaScript by tester stock playlist in the first test, and coming to the second test, we are going to the youtube.com, and we are searching for the JavaScript by tester stock, then simply we are finishing the test. So this is how you can create the record and playback test by using the Cypress Studio. Cypress Studio has some limitations. So if you see these limitations, so it is very good to know the some of the Cypress Studio limitations. The very first limitation is Cypress Studio is currently available for only end-to-end testing. Cypress Studio is not available for the component testing. And the second limitation of Cypress Studio is it does not support for the writing test, which domain uses the multiple origins. So that is the second limitation of Cypress Studio. In this Cypress tutorial, we are going to see how to create first Cypress automation test, and finally we are going to see how to create the logs in the Cypress automation test. So here I have already installed the Cypress. In my case, I have created another new folder called Cypress full course, and here I have installed it, Cypress. Now I will run the another command called npm run cypress open. So this will open the Cypress window, and after selecting the configurations, it will open the browser. So it has opened the Cypress window. So here we have to select what type of testing we are performing, and then we have to select the browser. So we are selecting E2E testing, and it will take few seconds to load. And here you can select the second option, Cypress support E2E.js, and click on continue. And here you can select whichever the browser you like it. So in my case, I will select Firefox browser. And here I'm going to create a new spec, and here I'll add the file name as first Cypress test. That's it. I will click on create spec. So I will keep as it is. So we will come to this particular file from the VS Code, and we will create the first Cypress automation test. So that's it, guys. So this particular test, just it contains the go to this particular URL. That's it. There are no more steps. So simply I will close this particular file now. So we will reopen this particular thing in another few minutes. So I will open this particular folder in the Visual Studio Code. So here I'll go to the file and open folder. So I will select the Cypress full course folder, and that's it. So under the Cypress folder, E2E folder, we have created a one JavaScript file. So it has already created a template. So this is describe is nothing but the test suite. So let's add the test suite name as test suite 1, and already it has added the one test. So here I will specify the test name as my first test, I'll say. That's it. So here by using the cy.visit, so whatever the URL you will add it here, so it will goes to the this particular URL. So before we add the URL, let's discuss the manual scenario. So we will open the browser, and after that we will enter this particular URL, and then in the search box we are going to search with the JavaScript by testers talk. Then we are going to click on the search icon. That's it, guys. So this is a scenario what we are going to automate by using the Cypress automation framework. So let's copy the URL first, and here I will add the URL. So whatever you add it inside the visit method, so it goes to that particular URL. So after going to the URL, we have to identify the this particular search text box, right? So let's open once again youtube.com, and we have to identify the this particular search text box. So simply inspect this particular search text box. So let me bring it down, and if you look at here, so that particular search text box is getting highlighted. So it has multiple properties. By using the ID, we are going to identify this particular search text box. So here I'll copy this particular value, that is ID. So here I'm writing the simple CSS selector. Firstly, I'm using the tag name, and followed by that, I'm adding the attribute name and equal to, in the double quotes, we are adding the value. So that's it. It is highlighting the this particular text box, and also you can see here it is matching one of one. Simply copy this particular selector and come here, and here we have to use the command called cy.get. So inside the get, you need to specify the our selector within the single quotes. So simply add the selector value here. So firstly, we are navigating to this particular youtube.com, and then we are identifying the search text box. So after identifying this search text box, we have to enter the value. So by using the method called type, you can enter the data in the search text box. So simply add the search keywords here inside the type method. So here I'll say JavaScript by testers talk. That's it. Now we have entered the search keyword in the search text box, and after that we have to click on the this particular search icon. So let's inspect search icon. And if you look at here, so there is a button tag which has the ID and it has also the class value. So by using the ID, we are going to identify this particular search icon. So simply I'll copy this particular value and followed by that, so there is another tag. So that is the YT-icon. So after identifying this particular button, so we need to focus on the next tag. That's the YT-icon. So just you can remember this particular tag name. So we will be entering after identifying this particular button. So here I'll say button and followed by that ID, and we are entering the value. And here you need to specify the greater than symbol. Followed by that, you need to specify the tag name. So now it is highlighting this particular search icon, and if you look at the match also, it is 1 of 1. So no need to worry about the selectors or the CSS selectors as of now. I will cover CSS selector in detail in the upcoming tutorials. So similar way, I will use the cy.get command. In the single quotation, I will add the locator. Then we need to click on this particular search icon, right? So that's the reason I will call to the method called click. That's it. So that's it, guys. So in the first line, we are going to this particular website, that's youtube.com, and we have identified the search text box, and we are entering this particular text search keyword in the search text box. Then we are clicking on the search icon in the youtube.com. So that's it, guys. Let's save this particular test, and now I will open the once again our test runner. So by using the npm run cypress:open. So we will be running this particular test by using the Cypress Test Runner. And here I'm selecting this particular JavaScript file what we have created in the beginning of this session. So if you look at this one, so after clicking on that particular JS file, it has started executing my first test. And if you look at the suite name also, it is showing properly from the VS Code. So it is opening the youtube.com, and after that it is searching with the JavaScript by tester stock, and also it is clicked on the search icon also, right? So let's rerun it. So simply you can click on this run all test once again. So it will rerun all the tests which are there inside this particular JS file. So after opening the youtube.com, and it is started searching with the JavaScript by testers talk, then it will click on the search icon. So that's the test, guys, and it is working perfectly fine. And if you look at the status of the test, and it is getting passed. So this is how you can create the first Cypress automation test in the Cypress tool. Now let's see how to add the logs or how to create the logs in the Cypress. So it is very simple. So simply I will go to the VS Code. So you need to use the simple command called cy.log. And inside the log, you can specify the message. So here I'll say test1 is started. So this is a log I'm creating in the test, and after that I'm going to add the another log after going to this particular youtube.com. So here I'll say the log message as navigated to YouTube site. So that's it, guys. So now I will save this particular JS file, and automatically test execution will be started over here, right? So if you look at this one, test execution is started automatically. So whenever you change something in the VS Code, so automatically rerun will happen in this particular Cypress Test Runner. And if you see here, so it is searching with the keywords which we have mentioned in the Cypress automation test. And our test is working perfectly fine. So let's see the logs it is printing properly or not. So if you see here, so this particular log we have printed in the test. If you see here in this test, so this particular log is printing there, and second log is navigated YouTube site. So same log will be printed over here, and if you see here, so it is printed navigated YouTube site. So let's add another log at the end. So here I'll say test one is completed, and here I'll say navigated to YouTube site. So now I will save this particular JS file, and automatically rerun will be happening in this particular Cypress Test Runner. If you see here, so it started searching with the JavaScript by testers talk, and then it will hit the search icon finally. And this test is perfectly working fine. And if you see the output of this particular test, so it is working fine. And also here you can see the top also. So if test is failed, so this count will be added over here on the right side. So now our test is getting passed. The count is added over on the right side. So we have printed the log at the end. So let's check that particular log is printed properly or not. And if you see here at the end, it is printing the test one is completed. This particular log we have created in the VS Code at the end of the test. In the upcoming tutorial, we are going to see how you can actually disable printing all these tag details. It can be the fetch, XHR, so all these details. So these details are we are printing actually which is not required. So simply we are printing it. So we will see how to disable all these logs also. And also we are going to see how you can disable the auto rerun. Whenever I make changes in this particular file, say for example, if I'm having 50 test cases, so simply it will start executing all the 50 test cases in this particular test runner. So that is not accepted. How you can stop the automatic test rerun in the Cypress also we are going to discuss in the upcoming tutorial. In this Cypress tutorial, we are going to see how to run the Cypress automation test in the different browsers. So there are two ways. By using the Cypress Test Runner, we can execute the Cypress test in the different browsers. That's a first way. And second way is by using the command prompt. And by using this particular command, we can execute the Cypress automation test in the different browsers. So let's try to run the Cypress automation test by using the Cypress Test Runner in the different browsers. So here I will navigate to the test runner. So currently my tests are getting executed in the Firefox browser. If you see here, so Firefox is displayed. On the top left also it is displayed the Firefox browser. So if I click on run all test, so it is going to execute the test in the Chrome. Sorry guys. So it is going to execute the test in the Firefox browser currently. So it is running my test. And if you look at here, so our test is getting passed. Now I want to run my Cypress automation test in the Chrome browser. Simply you can go to this particular drop down, and here if you want to run your test in the Edge browser, you can select the Edge. So in my case, I want to run my Cypress test in the Chrome browser. So simply I will select the Chrome browser. So that's it. So automatically it is going to launch the Chrome browser with all the tests. And if you see here, so Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. And also here you can see, observe that. So Chrome is displayed. So currently our tests are getting executed in the Chrome browser. So similarly, you can try it for the Edge browser, and also you can try it for the Electron browser. So this is the first way how you can run Cypress test in the different browsers. The second way is by using the command line, we can execute the Cypress automation test in the different browsers. So simply we have to use this particular command npx cypress run and -- browser edge. For example, if you want to execute your test on the Edge browser, you can specify Edge here. For example, if you want to execute your test on the Chrome, simply specify the browser name here. And after that, hyphen hyphen headed, so that it will open the browser and it will execute the Cypress test. And followed by that, we have to specify the hyphen hyphen spec. And here we have to specify the .js file path. So let's enter this particular command. So here I'll say so let me just resize the window here. So here I will enter npx followed by that Cypress run hyphen hyphen browser, and followed by that we have to specify the browser name. So here I will specify this time Edge only. So next time we will specify it as the Chrome, and space we have to specify the headed and hyphen hyphen spec. And here we have to enter the .js file path. So I will go to the VS Code now. So we have to specify this particular path. Firstly, we have to enter the firstly we have to specify the Cypress, followed by that E2E folder, and inside the E2E folder we have the first Cypress test.cy.js file. So let's enter this particular path now. So here I will bring up the CMD, and inside the double quotation I will enter the Cypress, followed by that backslash, then I will enter E2E backslash, then I will enter the file name. So here I'll say first Cypress test.cy.js. So that's it. So let me maximize this command prompt now. So it will take few seconds. So based on your internet connection. So simply I will close this previous browser and Cypress Test Runner. And if you see here, so it is started listening to this particular host and this particular port number. And if you see here, so it is started displaying all the details, and it has opened the Microsoft Edge browser now. And if you see the message here, so Microsoft Edge is being controlled by automated test software, and it is loading all the tests which are there inside the first Cypress test.cy.js file, and automatically it is selected the Edge over here. So it is loading. So in my case, internet is a bit slow. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. And if you look at here, so our test execution started. And also it is printed the log which we have created earlier. And it is navigated to the youtube.com, and it will search with the JavaScript by tester stock. So that's it, guys. And if you see here, so it has printed all the details. So what is the Cypress version, which is the browser? So Edge browser, which has the 117 version, Node version, and what are the specs files? In my case, only one spec file is found. And if I come down, so this is a suite name, and this is our test name. And if I come down, so here it is showing total number of tests. Currently we have only one test, and that is getting passed here. And if you look at the count also, so it is listed under the passing. And also you can see the duration, how long it took for the test execution. And if I come down, so here it is listed down all the spec files. So in our case, only one spec file is present. So you can try to create the multiple .javascript files, and you can try to add the multiple test methods. So now I will try to run the same test in the Chrome browser. So this time I will update. So here I will replace the Edge with the Chrome. So that's it. So it will take few seconds to bring up the test runner of the Cypress. So it is started listening to this particular host and the port number, and it has launched the test runner now. And if you see here, so it is displaying Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. And also here you can see the Chrome is got selected, and also you can observe the version of the Chrome. And our test is getting executed on the Chrome browser, and it is searching with the JavaScript by tester stock, and also it is finished the test execution. So if I go up, and if you see here, so this is a Chrome version, sorry guys, so this is the Cypress version, and here you can see the Chrome browser, and followed by that it is specified the version and node version, and you can see the number of spec files here, and this is the complete path of the .js file. And if I come down, so this is the suite name, so this is our test name, and here you can see that total number of seconds it took for the test execution. And coming to the results table, so this is the total number of tests. So in our case only one test is there, and our test is getting passed. And here also you can see the total number of seconds, that's the duration of the this particular test execution. And after that you can see the which spec file it got executed. And at last you can see the all the spec file. So if you are executing multiple spec files, you can see all the spec files over here. So in our case only one spec file is there, so that spec file is listed here. So on the right side also you can see the total number of tests, and also our test is getting passed. In this Cypress tutorial we are going to see how to run Cypress test in the headless mode. So basically we have to use this particular command. By using this command we can execute the Cypress test in the headless mode. So we have to use the npx followed by Cypress run and browser, and here we have to specify the browser name, and followed by that hyphen spec, and here we have to specify the .js file path. So let's go to the folder where we have installed the Cypress. So let's open the cmd here, and simply we have to use this particular command. So by using this command we can execute the Cypress automation test in the headless mode. So here I will say simply, so here I'll say npx followed by that Cypress run, and here I'll say browser, and followed by that we have to specify the browser name. So let's add the edge this time. So next time we will run the test in the Chrome browser in the headless mode. So here I'll say edge, followed by that we have to specify the 2 hyphen spec, followed by that we have to specify the path of the JS file. So we are going to execute our JS file. So that is there inside the E2E folder. So that is the first Cypress test.cy.js. So we have to specify the first Cypress folder. So inside the Cypress folder we have the E2E folder, and then we have to specify the file name. So let's add the Cypress here, and backslash, let's add the E2E folder. Under E2E folder we have the JavaScript file. So here I'll say first Cypress test.cy.js. So that's it guys. So I will hit the enter. Let me maximize the command prompt. So it is started listening to this particular host and the port number. So it is not going to open the any browser because we are running Cypress automation test in the headless mode. So it is already provided all the details, and if you see here, so this is a Cypress version and browser, and this browser is, so this is the current browser, and if you look at the configuration, so it is opened in the headless mode, and followed by that we have the node version. So it is specifying the number of spec file found. So currently we have one spec file, and this is the path where my Cypress automation tests are present. So it will take few seconds, then it will generate the test results. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. And next time we will run our Cypress automation test in the Chrome browser. So this time we are executing the Cypress test in the Edge browser with the headless mode. And if you see here, so our test execution is completed. And this is our test suite name, and this is our test name. And also here you can see the total number of tests, and our test is getting passed. And this is the duration. So it took total 23 seconds for the test execution. And also at the end you can see the our spec file. And here also you can see the total number of tests, and our test is getting passed. Now this time we are going to execute the Cypress automation test in the Chrome browser with the headless mode. So here I'll simply specify the Chrome. That's it. So if you look at this, guys, so it is not opening any browser. So that is the feature of the headless mode. So if you look at here, so browser, so that's a Chrome browser which is having a 116 version, and also so we are running our Cypress test in the headless mode. And you can see the node version, spec file, and complete path of the .js file, and it is currently executing the our Cypress automation test. So it will take a couple of seconds because we are using the heavy loaded web application. So where it is opening the youtube.com, and followed by that it is going to search for something, and we got the results here, right? So this is a suite name, and followed by that we have the test name, and this is a total test, and our test is getting passed. And at the end you can see the our spec file, and also you can see the duration, how long it took for the execution. And finally in the spec file list also our test is getting passed here. So this is how you can run your test in the headless mode in the Cypress. In this Cypress tutorial we are going to see how to stop auto rerun test in the Cypress. So whenever we make changes in this automation test, so it will automatically rerun all the test cases in the Cypress Test Runner. So how you can stop this particular functionality in the Cypress, we will be seeing in a couple of seconds. Say for example, I'm having 50 automation tests like this. So if I make one line code change, then it will rerun automatically all the 50 test cases, right? So that is not accepted behavior when I'm developing a particular automation test, or whenever I'm developing a new automation test. I don't want to execute the all other test cases automatically, right? So that is not a accepted behavior when we are working in the real-time projects. So simply you can specify watch for file changes false. You can set this particular flag in the cypress.config file, and if you specify this particular flag in the Cypress config file, it will stop the auto rerun of the Cypress automation test. So let's open the our test runner. So here I'll say npm run cypress colon. So right now I'm opening the Cypress test runner. Firstly, we are going to reproduce the issue, then we are going to fix the problem. So here I'll say start end-to-end testing in the Chrome. So we want to run our test cases in the Chrome browser. I will select the spec file. So let it run this particular my test one. So when you select first time, it is going to run the all the tests which are there inside the particular JS file. So our test is completed, and if you look at here, so our test is getting passed. So I'll come back to the Visual Studio Code now. So let's try to add the same test case once again here in this VS Code. So here I will rename the test name as my test2, and here at the end I will update the log message. So if I save this particular JavaScript file, so automatically it will start rerunning all the test cases which are there inside this particular JS file. So let me save this particular file. And if you see here, so it is started executing the my first test one. So if we are having 50 test cases or 100 test cases, so it is going to rerun all the test cases. So that is not a accepted behavior in the real-time projects. So we will see how to disable this particular feature in the Cypress. So simply you need to specify this particular flag inside the cypress.config.js file. So that is the watch for file changes flag you need to specify inside the Cypress configuration file. So here I will open the Cypress configuration file, and after the line number 3, simply I will add the flag called watch for file changes. So that's it. I will simply save this one, and I will let me close this test runner, and we will relaunch it once again, the test runner. So I will close this browser and Cypress window also. So let's reopen the test runner. So this time, if I make any changes in this particular JavaScript file, so it is not going to execute all the test cases until unless I explicitly mention that run all test. So let's select the end-to-end testing here, and let's click on the end-to-end testing. And here I will select the JS file. So firstly, it is going to execute the all the tests which are there inside the first Cypress test.cy.js file. So let it run all the 2 test cases. Then we will make the some changes in the test 2. That is my first test 2, and it should not rerun the all the test cases, right? So now our test cases are getting passed. If you see the count here, so and also right now there are no test cases running in the Cypress test runner. I will come back to the VS Code. So simply I will add, sorry, here I will update the one log message. That's it. So now I'm going to save this particular file, and if you see here, so it is not rerunning all the test cases which are there inside the this particular JS file. So previously it was rerunning the all the test cases automatically which are there inside this particular JS file. So by using this particular flag, we can disable the auto rerun of the test cases or a test in the Cypress. So this is how we can stop the auto rerun test in the Cypress.